Okay, good afternoon once again. Today is a beautiful Saturday afternoon, although I think it's a little bit gloomy. Oh no, hindi pa pala ako lumalabas kasi ng bahay. That's why I didn't realize it's not gloomy at all. It's kind of sunny actually today, right? It's a beautiful day. Tama naman yung my initial statement was right. It's a sunny day. But however, kung nasan man kayo right now, how's the weather? Is it good? It's a great time to spend at the beach. I hope I was at the beach right now. I really need something to unwind, but at this current situation that I'm in, I don't have the privilege to go to the beach. Pero kayo ba? Nasa beach trip ba kayo right now or in any outing? Ang masasabi ko na lang talaga sana all. Okay, so anyways, let's talk about bakit tayo magsa-start sa vocabulary 3 because I've already conducted lectures on vocabulary 1 and 2 in our previous months. Sa mga hindi pa nakaabot doon, it's okay kasi i-recycle naman natin ang mga lectures. Meaning, babalikan naman natin ng vocabulary 1 and 2. And definitely, if you can't wait for that moment, you can watch the replay videos uploaded on my YouTube channel under the playlist IELTS. Please do not watch my other videos on YouTube because nakakahiya. I'm so embarrassed. It's that I can't delete those videos because they are kind of special to me, but please just watch the IELTS playlist, okay? Thank you so much in advance. Alam ko naman, you're gonna follow that specific request that I have for you, okay? So, vocabulary 1 discusses context clues, how you can unlock meaning through the help of context clues and what are the different context clues. Vocabulary 2 is focusing on debunking Filipino English terminologies that a lot of candidates have gotten used to but are no longer relevant to the current trend. So definitely the sa vocabulary 2 it discusses different mistakes, a lot of mistakes that Filipinos make when it comes to vocabulary. And I think it also covers collocations, phrasal verbs, and all that jazz. But today, I came up with vocabulary 3, and this is going to be covering 12 different topics. And we will focus on word clusters. I'm going to talk about that soon. But I think kung ano lang yung magkasya sa oras natin because at around 2:30 or 2:45, I have a scheduled one-on-one coaching. Kasi nag-message din ako last night that you're welcome to have a virtual coaching session with me. So, dapat kaninang 12 siya nag-start but I requested the student na after na lang ng lecture kami mag-coaching. So, sino ba dito sa inyo? AJ, Augustus, Christian, CJ, Jemmy, Maxine, Valerie. Would you like to have virtual coaching after our lecture? If you do, please just send me a message. Okay, let's talk about the importance of vocabulary. You might have heard me say this a couple of times already. Vocabulary is the foundation of your English language skills because you cannot express yourself well and effectively without appropriate vocabulary. Your vocabulary should be used in the most natural way, in the most appropriate and accurate way, both in writing and in speaking. But it also is helpful in listening and in reading. Okay? So, vocabulary is really important. It's a minor lecture, but definitely you would learn a lot from our vocabulary lectures because it goes more than just learning words. It's going to be useful in all four components. Okay? You can't give what you don't have. I want that to stick. You can't give what you don't have. So, you can't share your thoughts without being able to use the appropriate words to describe what you're thinking. right? In writing, you cannot express your ideas, your opinions in your essays if you do not have appropriate words and phrases to do so. Definitely, that's why vocabulary is so important. And is so important. It accounts for 25% of your score, both in writing and in speaking. Lexical resource and accuracy. Vocabulary and lexical resource, 25% of your speaking score, 25% of your writing score. So definitely, this is something that you should not underestimate. But today, our main focus is real life English conversations. This is going to be very helpful in your speaking because our goal is to speak more naturally like a native speaker. The greatest misconception about IELTS speaking test, nagpo-focus kayo masyado sa word na test. Yes, it is a test. But it's a speaking assessment test wherein the more natural you sound, the more conversational you are, the better. So these are the words and word clusters that we're going to learn in order for you to build your vocabulary. I've already mentioned this to my old students. Hindi mo kailangang basahin yung buong dictionary. You don't need to be equipped with the most difficult, complex words to express your thoughts because the goal is to impress the examiner, probably, right? The goal here is to sound more natural. Okay? To be able to use words in sentences that you can express them without hesitation and without difficulty. So, we're going to start with the basics, okay? We will try to cover all this on the list. Daily routine, school and work, food and restaurant, shopping, travel, weather, health, hobbies, technology, feelings and emotions, making plans and problems and solutions. But we will take our time. So kung ilan lang dito yung ma-cover natin, let's say we will just cover 5 of these topics. It's gonna be okay. I want this lecture to be interactive. If you have questions, you want to clarify something, raise your hand, drop a message on the chat thread, and I will be reading it, okay? And I want you to involve yourselves in the discussion, meaning when I ask for active participation, I need you to actively participate, okay? Don't hesitate. Don't think that you might make a mistake. Mistakes are okay. And we need to address those mistakes in order for us to learn. Lahat tayo matututo sa mistakes ng bawat isa. So definitely, I want you guys to be very active in our discussion. Okay? Can I have a thumbs up? All right. So the goal at the end of this lecture, you have to be able to use these words, phrases, and word combinations in order for you to speak like a native speaker, to write like a native speaker, a native English person, and to be able to incorporate them in your everyday conversations. Because the reason why you're also studying IELTS is not just because you want to get the certification, right? Obviously, the reason why you want to improve your English is because you're going to be using it since you're going to live abroad. You're not just going to live abroad, you're going to study and work abroad. So definitely, people that you're going to be surrounded with, the only means of communication is English. So this is a training ground for you. Okay? Let's talk about word clusters. Isa sa pinaka-helpful tips na narinig ko at ginagamit ko rin when it comes to my speaking is to be able to learn word clusters. you would sound profoundly more natural when you know how word combinations work. And definitely, this is one key on how you can level up your score in vocabulary and lexical resource. Okay? So word clusters are groups of two or more words that are commonly used together. Okay? So let me give you some examples. Make a decision, catch a bus, take responsibility. On the other hand, as far as I know, at the end of the day, word clusters are used in the beginning of a sentence, in the middle of a sentence, and they can also be used at the end of sentences, depending on the context, of course. But as you can see, on the other hand, as far as I know, these are good sentence starters, okay? May isa pa akong lecture, which is the common mistakes in speaking. I gave a list of discourse markers on how to begin sentences, on how you can how you can transition from one topic to another, because cohesion is very important. Cohesion pertains to how logically connected your words are in sentences. So when you use word clusters, transition phrases, and words, you sound more natural. Let me give an example, okay? Let's say, for example, you're talking about a vacation that you had last summer. How was your summer vacation? I spent the summer vacation at the beach. My family went there. We stayed there for a week. It was a beachfront accommodation. We enjoyed it. We had great time as a family. We spent quality time together. Okay, that was a good answer. But there's something lacking, right? Connectors or word clusters. If I said it in a way that there's continuity and I made use of better transition words, it would have sounded more interesting and natural. For example, actually, last summer vacation is one for the books because I had amazing time with my family. In fact, we booked an accommodation for one whole week. That was one of the best times we had as a family since the pandemic, because after the pandemic, we went our separate ways and we were very busy with life. That's why we made a decision to have a family reunion last summer, and we gathered our cousins, our aunties and uncles. And I think that was a really fun moment for the whole family. At night, we would drink and have boodle fights beside the beach. And the best part of that summer getaway was everyone got tanned. Nobody went home without a tan. And I think even if that was quite unhealthy, because nowadays sun exposure is not that recommended, but still, it's the memories that will really last in our hearts forever. Mga ganon, okay? So, kung napansin nyo yung difference, the first example, it was so plain, it was so dull, and wala man lang connectors, wala man lang words that would make it sound interesting. Unlike the second example, it's it sounded more natural because it sounded like I was sharing a real story and I genuinely enjoyed my vacation with my family. See the difference when you are equipped with words that would help you connect the ideas together? That's why these word clusters are so important. Okay, so learning word clusters help you speak more naturally, sound more fluent and confident, recall vocabulary more quickly. Yes, kapag ginugroup-group yung words, mas madaling matandaan because you know that they function as a unit and they express a certain meaning altogether. And a lot of native speakers would use these kinds of phrases and expressions. Kaya naman, the communication that you would have with native speakers will be easier since mas maiintindihan nyo sila once you're equipped with these word clusters. And it will help reduce grammar mistakes because the words are learned as a unit. Yes, that's right. I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. Okay, so our first topic today is going to be daily routine because this is also one of the top most common topics in IELTS. It's a daily routine. Okay? So here are some useful expressions that you can use when talking about your daily routine. Hit the snooze button. Oversleep, freshen up, get dressed, grab breakfast, rush to work, commute, run errands, call it a day, wind down. Okay, for most of you, yung nasa listahan na to, marami na dito familiar na kayo. Am I right? Raise your hands if familiar na kayo sa ibang words dito. Yes, Valerie, thank you. Hit the snooze button. I think familiar tayong lahat dito because who's guilty of this? Ako guilty ako. I always hit the snooze button. Kasi ayoko pang gumising in the morning. Okay, kayo din ba? So literally hitting the snooze button is, refusing to get up in the morning because you want that extra 5 minutes. Diba? Okay. Don't worry, later I'll give you some sample sentences so that we can see how they're used in sentences and in answers, okay? Oversleeping. This is something na matagal-tagal ko nang hindi nagagawa because, yay, my circadian rhythm has officially gone back to its normal routine. Okay, so maayos-ayos yung circadian rhythm ko nowadays because I've been sleeping at 11 p.m. around that time. I know for some, you're gonna say, ay, parang late pa yun, ma'am. For me, na dating natutulog ng alas 3, yun yung regular routine ko dati. 3, malaking difference na yung natutulog na ako ngayon ng 11 p.m. And I wake up at around 7. So I think I'm securing 8 hours of sleep a day. And I've never felt better. So kung kayo, you have a problem with oversleeping, I know it can cause a lot of fatigue. Kasi when you're oversleeping, your body also tells you, oh, I'm lazy and stuff like that. Freshen up. Okay? To freshen up means di ka naman siguro papasok sa work or at any kind of establishment without freshening up, right? Like, ayusin mo yung sarili mo. Get dressed, grab breakfast, rush to work, run errands. How about run errands? Okay, before we move on to run errands, let me particularly point out the word commute. Okay? Kasi marami sa atin, ginagamit natin yung word na commute in a wrong way. Akala natin ang ibig sabihin ng commute, use public transpo. Sino guilty dito? Akala mo ibig sabihin ng commute, ay magko-commute lang ako today because the gas is so expensive, ganyan. No, ang ibig sabihin ng commute, it is your travel from home to work or to school back and forth. That's commuting. Whether you're taking public transport or private vehicle, it's called commuting. The process of you traveling from one place to another is already the word commute. That's what it means, okay? So, wag niyo siyang gamitin just for public transport. How do you commute to work? I commute via public transport. I take a bus and a tricycle. Okay? What's a tricycle? Siyempre, hindi nyo sasabihin yung tricycle sa IELTS answer nyo without explaining or describing it. Oh, tricycle is one of the most common means of public transport in the Philippines. It's actually a motorcycle which has a steel carriage with another wheel on it so that it can basically fit 3 to 5 people comfortably. Tama ba? Okay. Running errands. Running errands is what? Go to the mall to get something like do the groceries, pay bills, kahit na anong kailangan mong gawin like in a busy day, not relaxation, okay? To run errands is something that you have to do because it needs to be done. Okay? Like paying the bills kasi may due date, ganyan, okay? Today my agenda is to run errands and to go to the salon for a little pamper day. Ganyan, okay? Sa mga nasa adulting period na dito, alam na alam niyo yung ibig sabihin ng run errands, okay? Bank transactions, anything. What do you usually do? Depende kasi sa trabaho mo yan eh. Depende yan if you're a business owner, iba kasi din yung running, yung errands ng mga business owners. And it depends on what kind of routine you have, right? Pero basic stuff like paying the bills, going to the bank, doing the groceries, yung mga parents dyan, fetching your kids, taking them to school, errands yan for you, okay? Call it a day. Let's call it a day. Ibig sabihin nito, okay, the day is done, everything is done, I'm gonna rest. I'm gonna call it a day. Or probably, kapag nasa school, yung teacher nyo, okay everyone, let's call it a day, see you next week. Or maybe after this lecture. All right, let's call it a day, guys. Ibig sabihin, tapos na. Okay? Wind down. What do you usually do? What do you usually do to wind down? I want to know your answers. Wind down means mag-unwind or mag-relax. Saturday today. So what are you guys planning to do to unwind? Can you answer that question, AJ? You can type it. Okay, so si AJ, hindi yata ako narinig. How about the others? Christian, what do you do to wind down? Ayan, si Valerie. Go to a coffee shop. I love this. Okay. What's your go-to coffee order, Valerie? Can I know? Can you tell us what is your go-to coffee order? My go-to coffee order is an iced Americano. Napaka-boring naman, ma'am. Talaga ba? Yeah. My go-to order is an iced Americano with half pump of sugar because I can't handle the bitterness. Nagpapanggap lang talaga ako pero nagpapalagay ako ng half pump sugar kasi sa totoo lang, can you really drink an iced Americano without any sweetener? Kasi 'di ba parang it's too bitter. Mocha. Very pang-bagets talaga yung choice ni Valerie, 'no? Yun yung si Valerie kasi she's only 18 and yun yung mga choices niya yung pero tayong mga nasa adulting na, yung mga trentahin na, alam niyo na pang-iced Americano na tayo. Tama ba? Okay, spend time with daughter and eat out. As a black coffee drinker, yes, ma'am, even without sugar. Whoa! Sana all. Actually, one of my guilty pleasures, you have to try this. If you haven't tried it yet, you should. I would always order an iced Americano with half pump sugar or if they have stevia or Splenda, kung ano mang zero calories. Alam ko naman it's not healthy, even though zero calories, kiniklaim nila na zero calories, but still, I'm hoping na zero calories talaga yan. What I ask when I'm craving for something creamier and sweeter is I ask for extra sea salt cream on top of my Americano. I think I've tried this drink last 2023. So 3 years ko na siyang alam. So whenever I'm trying to look for something creamier, sweeter, I add a sea salt cream on top of my iced Americano, and it's the best. You should give it a try. Okay. Si Valerie kasi sinimulan niya eh. Okay, let's take a look at the sample conversation. You look tired. I overslept this morning, so I had to skip breakfast and rush to work. Hopefully, you can call it a day early. Meaning, di naman niya tatapusin yung araw niya, but what that means is that di na, hindi siya magtatagal sa work or tatapusin niya yung work niya immediately and then rest. Okay? One of the most common questions. Can you describe your typical daily routine? Do I have here volunteers who would like to give their answer? Pang IELTS dapat IELTS sample answer to the question, can you describe your typical daily routine? Who would like to volunteer? Di pa kayo confident? It's okay. My tip here, you don't have to talk about everything that you do from the moment you wake up until the time that it's time to sleep. Hindi naman ganon ka-intricate, okay? You can do it batch by batch. For example, what do you usually do in the morning? What do you usually do in the afternoon? And what are your highlights in the evening? Hindi kailangan super detailed, ang kailangan lang highlights or kung ano man yung pinaka best part of your daily routine, something like that. Okay? So, let's take a look at this sample. And I would like to ask a volunteer to read. Valerie, can you read it, please?
On weekdays, I usually wake up at around 6:30 in the morning, although I sometimes hit the snooze button once or twice because I enjoy sleeping a little longer. I try not to oversleep, especially when I have work. After getting out of bed, I freshen up, get dressed, and grab breakfast before leaving the house. Then, I commute to work, which usually takes around about 30 minutes. During the day, I focus on my tasks, and if I need to, I also run errands, such as going to the bank or buying groceries after work. In the evening, I usually relax, have dinner, and spend some time watching videos or reading. By around 10 p.m., I call it a day and go to bed so I can get enough rest for the next morning.
Thank you so much, Valerie. Very well read. Okay. So, what have we noticed from this sample answer? Ang binigay niya lang na highlights ay kung ano talaga yung important things na ginagawa niya in a day, right? So, doesn't necessarily mean I wake up in the morning at 6:30, I brush my teeth first thing, and then I cook breakfast. Hindi naman ganon, okay? You can just generalize your answer. But have you noticed how natural it sounds when you use word clusters? It sounds much better, and for sure, it will help you secure a better score in your IELTS speaking, and definitely it will help you express your thoughts in a more appropriate manner. Okay? Do you have any questions? Daily routine word clusters are quite easy, so I guess let's go on to the next topic, school and work. For those who are still schooling and for those working, these are the helpful word clusters that you could learn. Okay? So we have meet a deadline, pull an all-nighter. Meet a deadline, this is familiar to you. Okay. How about pull an all-nighter? Does anybody know what this means? Pull an all-nighter means there's so much work to be done that you have to stay up late. Okay, I'm pulling an all-nighter. Especially, this is useful sa mga mahilig mag-cram. Sino dito mahilig mag-cram? Yung tipong deadline na after a few hours, pero ikaw, cramming ka pa din. Okay? So, pulling an all-nighter will definitely ruin your circadian rhythm. So, I don't suggest it. Mas okay na tinatapos mo yung mga tasks mo on the appropriate deadline para naman hindi ka nagkakaroon ng maraming backlogs, right? To be under pressure, work overtime, attend a meeting, get promoted, submit an assignment, be swamped with work. Oh, ito na pala yung sagot ni AJ. I was hoping that you could say it. Pero, yeah, you... Okay, one of my daily routine as a mom is preparing meals for my family, for my daughter, and spending time. Okay. Oh, this is a very good answer, AJ. Mm-hmm. Okay. You can also use the expression be swamped with work. This means maraming nakatambak na gawain sa work. You have tasks after tasks because you chose to party the night before. Yung inuna muna yung ano no, yung party. I remember one of the students in IELTS. I think it was a day before his exam. And he messaged me. Hindi, didn't message me. Meron kaming group chat that time. And I think they were talking about inuna muna yung celebration bago yung exam. Tawang-tawa ako, grabe. May mga ganito ba dito? Yung inuuna muna. Minamanifest na niya eh, no? So, sinelebrate niya daw muna. And then, eventually, the next day, exam na. And funny. Yeah, there are people like that, no? Na parang celebrate muna even though. Okay, let's take a look. I've been swamped with work because we're trying to meet a deadline. Okay. So, I'm sure a lot of you experience this weekly. swamped with work. There are several days na hectic talaga and there are several days na medyo light lang naman ang schedule. Okay? So, if you were to be asked a question about work, it would start with, are you working or studying? So definitely if your answer is working, you should be able to tell the examiner what kind of job you have and the nature of your job. Okay? Or how do you manage your time? How do you manage your time at work? How do you manage your time at school or work? Okay, I want you to think of an answer to this question. You can write it down or kagaya ni AJ, tinype niya dito at sinubmit niya para mabasa nating lahat. But if you feel extra confident, you can raise your hand and unmute your microphone because we would love to hear your voice. How do you manage your time at school or work? Anybody? Okay, let's choose from the list. Maxine, would you like to unmute your microphone and answer this question? You can simply answer it with a few sentences. It doesn't really matter how long your answer is. You can just try. Would you like to give a sample answer? There are people, though, who have a hard time managing their time at school or at work because it has become very hectic. So, anyways, I'll show you a sample answer. I work as an English teacher, so my schedule can be quite busy. On most days, I attend meetings with my colleagues before I start teaching. Sometimes I'm swamped with work, especially when I have lessons to prepare and students' assignments to check. During those busy periods, I have to multitask to stay organized. I always try to meet deadlines because I want to finish my tasks on time. Occasionally, I work overtime if there's extra work, but I avoid pulling an all-nighter because I know it's not good for my health. Even when I'm under pressure, I stay calm and focus on one task at a time. I believe every challenge helps me gain experience, and I hope my hard work will eventually help me get promoted in the future. Okay? So, una muna niyang sinabi sa sagot niya kung ano yung klaseng trabaho na meron siya. Okay? And then the nature of the job. It's a busy she has a busy work routine. And then nag-add pa siya ng extra tasks na ginagawa niya. Okay? And scenarios. Nagbigay siya ng examples na realistic. So, ganyan dapat yung mga sagot natin. And of course, the most important part is the use of word clusters. You would not notice how natural it sounds with the use of these word clusters, right? And the thing about these word clusters, you might already be familiar with these. Pero when it comes to speaking, na mental block ang lahat. And you're parang nahihirapan kayong i-express yung mga thoughts nyo in words. That's why this is a good reminder na make use of the expressions that you already know. Kasi makakatulong din siya. Okay? Okay, now let's move on to the third topic, which is food and restaurants. This is a really important topic because napaka-common nitong natatanong. Okay, food and restaurants. So we have these expressions, grab a bite, like snack on something, eat out. Do you usually eat out or eat at home? Cook from scratch. Ibig sabihin, you didn't buy any instant noodles. You cooked it from scratch. To have a sweet tooth. Ibig sabihin, mahilig kang mag-crave ng sweets. Okay? To be starving means you have reached the highest level of hunger. Comfort food. Yeah, and what is my comfort food is? Order takeout, split the bill, try something new. Okay, pag-usapan natin tong have a sweet tooth. I used to think that having a sweet tooth has something to do with genetics, but it actually has something to do with a metabolic situation. The more you feed your body with sweets, the more likely you are to crave for them. I'm a living testimony to that because I used to have really unhealthy eating habits before. And I thought it's because of my hormones. That's why I'm craving. But the thing is, the reason why I'm craving is because I keep indulging in the sweet food, sweet drinks. Okay. So the time that I started getting used to blunt flavors, blunt taste, like sinanay ko na lang din yung sarili ko sa iced Americano with half pump sugar when I would regularly have an iced latte or a sea salt latte or anything with whipped cream. When I started getting used to the blunt taste of coffee and food, hindi na din ako masyadong nag-a-add ng sodium. And definitely, I cut on sugar. I didn't delete, not delete, I didn't exactly remove sugar from my system because we need it for energy, right? But I started getting used to blunt taste. Yung matabang, okay? Kasi alam niyo ba in Korea, in South Korea, matatabang food nila. Yung mga Koreans, when they come to the Philippines, they complain about the food. It's too salty. It's too flavorful. They don't like it kasi nasanay na sila. You know what? The standards of beauty in South Korea, to the highest level. Sobrang importante sa kanila to stay fit and slim. Medyo OA na talaga yung standard nila of beauty na to the point na umaabot na sa maraming retoke and stuff like that. But what I mean is, it's also healthy din naman na they stay fit. Okay? Pero isa sa mga sikreto nila is they always have high fiber diet. Laging may veggies yung mga side dishes nila and naka-proportion lahat. At pag natikman nyo, matabang talaga. Okay? Mahilig sila sa spicy pero matabang. Hindi siya like sobrang tamis, hindi rin siya sobrang alat. Kailangan sakto lang. Okay? And actually, you can get accustomed to it. Because it's true that when you keep feeding your body, indulging into sweets, the more your body is gonna crave for it. So, tinry ko nang i-cut off yung sugar. Cut down, not cut off. Cut off means totally no sugar. But I cut down on it, meaning binawasan ko. And that's when I saw the changes. That's when I realized, okay, kaya naman pala. Kagaya nung, sino ba nagsagot dito na naka-black coffee lang daw siya lagi? It's something that you get accustomed to. Really. And in America, a lot of, in European countries, they drink their espresso shots purely without any sweetener or extenders. As in, straight from the espresso machine. Yeah, I know. It sounds a little bizarre, but yeah, they do that. Anyway, these are the expressions that you could use when you talk about topics about food or eating out. Kasi may mga topics na ang itatanong sa inyo. Can you describe your eating habits? Do you usually eat out or do you prefer to eat home cooked meals? So, kailangan prepared kayo sa mga ganyang klaseng mga tanong, okay? So, do you want to grab a bite? Ibig sabihin, let's go, let's eat. Let's snack on something. Sure, I've been craving Korean food all day. All right. Can you tell me about your eating habits? When we say eating habits, marami yan. It's a broad topic, okay? But you can talk about what kinds of food do you prefer? Do you have good eating habits? Do you have bad eating habits? How can you say that it's good? How can you say that it's bad? And you can also talk about your daily meals, what time of the day you eat. Do you have complete meals within the day? Do you have a certain diet, a certain eating routine? For example, yung mga naka-OMAD or mga naka-intermittent fasting, you can talk about that. Another eating habit is eating with your hands because Filipinos like eating with hands. Or probably another eating habit is just buying instant food, instant readily made food, and because you don't know how to cook. Or probably an eating habit could be sharing the meal with your family because that's how traditional Filipinos would eat, right? We would go to the dining table all together, share the meal all together. Although hindi ko na yan masyadong nakikita na napapractice nowadays ng mga families kasi parang busy-busy na lahat, may kanya-kanyang schedule. But I still think that traditional Filipino eating habit of eating all together in one table, I honestly think that's so healthy because that's a chance for you to really talk about your day. And, kasi hindi naman na kayo nagkikita all throughout the day eh. You have your own schedules and then wala nang chance to talk. And I feel like that's one of the eating habits that my mom passed down to me. Sabi niya, sobrang important daw talaga to eat all together because that's a bonding moment, right? What do you guys think? Do you agree with that? Wala ba akong kausap dito? Pwede naman kayo mag-raise ng hands if you agree or not. Okay. Let's read. Okay, so since hindi, wala ka nga palang audio, no? I think I saw a preview of your message. Ah, you have an audio problem. Okay. Can somebody else from the group read it? How about Jemmy? Can you read it, Jemmy? Hello? Okay. Why are you guys shy? You're just gonna read it. You're not gonna come up with your own answer. Okay, you're not confident to read it? Okay, I'll read it. I I'd say my eating habits are quite balanced. On busy weekdays, I usually grab a bite between classes or work because I don't always have enough time for a full meal. Whenever possible, I prefer to cook from scratch since it's healthier and I can choose fresh ingredients. I don't eat out very often, but when I meet my friends on weekends, we usually go to a restaurant and split the bill. I also have a sweet tooth, so I sometimes crave something like ice cream or chocolate after dinner. If I'm really busy or starving after a long day, I might order takeout instead of cooking. My favorite comfort food is fried chicken because it always makes me feel better. I also enjoy trying something new, especially when it comes to different international cuisines. Ayan, very madaldal, ano? Okay, if I were to answer this question, madami akong masasagot because I really have good, healthier eating habits nowadays compared to 4 months ago. Okay, para naman ma-sharean ko kayo ng knowledge, I will also give my sample answer. Okay? All right. I'm very proud of myself for changing my eating habits since March 2026. That's 4 months ago. From eating junk food on a regular into slowly cutting down sugary food and drinks, and definitely choosing better options for my meals. I've studied and researched a lot about what kinds of food would contribute to better health. And I would say that my eating habits has drastically changed throughout these months. I prioritize protein, fiber, and I still incorporate carbs in my meals, but I make sure that I limit it because nowadays I'm on a calorie deficit and definitely I need to be very selective with the kinds of food that I put on my plate. One thing that has changed immensely in my eating habit is the time that I eat. I would skip breakfast and jump into a brunch before. But now I realized how breakfast is is playing an important role in my metabolism. That's why I would definitely eat breakfast in the morning at around 8 and have lunch at 12. Have a snack at around 4 and eat dinner before 8 p.m. I in the past I had a crazy routine with my meals, but nowadays it's a fixed daily eating routine because I realize that it helps me balance my cravings and my hunger. That's why I try to stick with that specific time frame because it regulates my hormones as well. When my food is balanced and when my food intake is at the right time, my hormones are regulated and there is less chance for me to crave for a specific type of food, which also leads to not eating beyond 8 p.m. And ever since I have established that new eating habit, I have seen great changes in my body, in my immune system, and definitely on my skin because I really believe that everything we eat will be seen on our skin. I had less breakouts and definitely more clear skin ever since I changed my eating habits. Ang haba naman ng sagot ko. Oh my God. Pero hopefully, you got it, guys. Speaking of, let's have a quick break before we move on to topic number 4. I'm going to quickly grab a cup of coffee and then toilet break. So see you guys in 5 minutes. All right, so we're down to topic number 4, shopping. Let's talk about your shopping habits. Ang alam ko magiging active dito mga babae. But you know what? Hindi rin. Huwag tayong maging gender bias. Because for a fact, I know that a lot of men are very aesthetic when it comes to their outfits nowadays. Tama ba? Marami na din tayong mga influencers na men that they share their um what do you call that? Fit check videos, right? Like Enchong D. So, mahilig na rin kayo mag-shop. Yung mga Gen Zs, a lot of millennials like to wear aesthetic clothes too, but napansin ko lang, a lot of Gen Zs are very expressive when it comes to fashion. How about you guys? I love fashion. I'm not in the extreme level of being a fashionista naman because when I see other influential influencers such as si Ea Borja, do you know her? Probably si Valerie kilala siya. She's famous on TikTok. Have you seen Ea Borja's OOTDs? Grabe. Grabe sa pagka-aesthetic. I really like it, but parang high fashion yung dating niya. I haven't reached that point. Nandun lang ako sa I just want to look put together most of the time, but I don't think I'm a fashion freak or anything. Okay. Window shopping on sale, out of stock, worth the money, compare prices, good deal, impulse buy. I'm guilty. Guilty ako sa impulse buying. Pero hindi na ngayon because I've been humbled by life experiences. So definitely, I'm more responsible with my finances nowadays. That's why I really think about it 1,000 times before I purchase something. Because as an adult, pag nasa trentahin era ka na and you're earning your hard-earned money, you're spending your hard-earned money, definitely you would know that impulse buying is not an option, right? Instead, you should save up for your future. Try something on, return an item. Okay, this is going to be really helpful, this list of expressions, because you would be asked questions such as, do you prefer online shopping or mall shopping? What are the advantages of mall shopping over online shopping? And then pwedeng i-twist din yung tanong, what are the advantages of online shopping over mall shopping? So you have to be able to express those kinds of experiences that you had. And another question is, have you ever purchased an item that is damaged? What did you do in that situation? Mga ganong tanong. Tinatanong din yan sa IELTS. So definitely you have to be ready with appropriate words and phrases to help you express your experiences and thoughts about it, okay? I feel like I have a back tissue thing. Okay. Did you buy that jacket? Yes, it was on sale, so I couldn't resist. You can't resist it. Kasi nga, jackets are normally expensive. So when they go on sale, you have to grab the opportunity, right? Okay. Where do you guys go shopping? Do you like shopping at the mall, at the open markets? Do you like thrift shops? Ano yung, pwede niyong isagot na lang sa chat kung nahihiya kayong magsalita. Online shopping, where do you usually buy your clothes? Napakamahiyain nung batch na 'to talaga. You know what? Sanay ako sa mga students na sobrang madaldal before, yung mga dating mga batch. It's not that I'm comparing you guys. It's just that, oh, ayan, sumagot naman yung iba. Online shopping si Maxine, mall to feel the texture of the cloth. Very particular si Jemmy, no? Feeling ko nasa, Jemmy, are you in your trentahin era na din? Kasi ganyan din ako, to feel the texture of the cloth. Online shopping and malls, most of the time. Pag reliable na yung source, halimbawa, I've already bought from, ayan, malapit ka na talaga sa trentahin era. Kaya naman pala, Jemmy. So, what I'm talking about is, you already know the quality of clothes that a certain online store can provide, pwede ka nang umulit-ulit, right? Pag na-test mo na talaga yung quality ng clothes. And parang alam mo na yung size ranges, di ba? So definitely, you would opt for that online store. But also, a lot of mall stores nowadays, they have created their apps. Let's say, for example, Adidas, Nike, yung mga ganyang stores, meron na rin silang online. Kasi eventually, they need to be innovative in business, right? They need to be innovative. So, malaki na kasi yung kompetensya in the online community. That's why I think kung walang online shopping, online store or websites, apps, ang mga brands, they would be left behind. Does Uniqlo have one? Because I like shopping there. Uniqlo, Zara, but Zara is a little too expensive for me. And there's no Zara here in Cabanatuan. But I like, you know, ito pa yung mga tanong na tatanong sa IELTS. When buying clothes, do you prefer quality over quantity? What do you think are the advantages of investing in expensive clothes compared to cheaper ones? Mga ganyang tanong. Okay, so kailangan ma-justify nyo. Bakit mas okay bumili ng high quality kesa sa cheaper options, right? Based on life experience, it's more sulit. It's a better investment to buy expensive, high quality clothes compared to cheap ones. But I do both. I buy cheap clothes and I also buy quality clothes, but it depends if I want to invest on a certain type of clothes. Okay, so for example, once na-try mo na yung quality kasi ng Uniqlo, Zara, H&M, Cotton On, ano pa ba? Dati uso pa Forever 21. Uso pa ba yun ngayon? I haven't gone to Mega Mall for shopping in a long time, so I don't know. Pero yung mga ganong brands, grabe. Decades na yung damit, but it lasts. Definitely. I am, I can attest to that. I remember last December, nagkaroon kami ng, we had an outing, a company outing in Tagaytay, and we had a staycation in a mountainous area. So I was contemplating if I would be wearing my black skirt or my black Uniqlo trousers, elephant pants, which I've had for like almost a decade. I've had those pants for almost a decade. If I knew back then that the quality would last that long, I would have bought probably three of those because I could use it in different styles. And because the color is black, so definitely it matches any kind of top you wear. the dressing room, I left my black Uniqlo pants. And I remembered it nung paalis na kami, but the thing is it's a mountainous area and I couldn't ask the driver to drive me back there because I was a little bit shy. Pero nanghinayang ako talaga because the quality of those pants, grabe talaga. Wala akong masabi. I would use it weekly. I would wash those trousers weekly, and still the quality of the fabric, grabe. And I think you can relate to that, right? In anything, not just clothes, even shoes, bags, any other things. So, yeah. Can you tell me about your shopping habits? I enjoy shopping. So that's, remember, REE, response, explanation, example. Those are the three key factors that your answer should have when it comes to IELTS speaking. You have to give your response first, give an explanation, reason out, and give examples. So let's take a look at this. I enjoy shopping, but I try to be careful with my spending. Sometimes I go window shopping just to look around and see what's available without buying anything. Before I make a purchase, I usually compare prices online and in different stores to make sure I'm getting a good deal. Yung mga nasa trentahin era, alam niyo yan. I also like buying things that are on sale as long as they're worth the money. If I'm shopping for clothes, I always try something on before I buy it to make sure it fits well. Occasionally, I make an impulse buy, especially if I see something I really like, but I try not to do that too often. For more expensive items, I prefer to save up for them instead of buying them right away. Sometimes the product I want is out of stock, so I have to wait until it's available again. If I buy something and it doesn't meet my expectations, I don't hesitate to return the item. This is such a good feature. Sa TikTok shop or even in the Orange app or Zalora. I don't know. I'm not a big fan of tik what do you call that? Zalora. But Lazada, Shopee, TikTok, I think there's a return policy, right? Return policy. Ang ganda nun kasi they will really do it. They will really return the item and i-refund nila yung halimbawa hindi mo nagustuhan because sa online stores kasi sometimes they don't appear to be what they showed you in the picture. So, in person, parang, ay, iba yata yung kulay, and the customer isn't satisfied with that. So, definitely, that's why they have the return policy. Ah, nakakapagod. What time is it? Okay. Let's do the next topic. The next topic is travel. Okay, this is one of my favorite topics, and I think all of you want to talk about travel too. This is a very common IELTS topic, and I think you guys have to be prepared when it comes to talking about travel. Wag ma-intimidate though, okay? Hindi pag sinabing travel yung topic, ibig sabihin na to, you should have traveled abroad to be able to come up with a good topic or a good answer for travel. It's unnecessary, okay? You can talk about going out of town. You can also talk about going out of the country. It doesn't matter. It pasok pa rin siya sa category ng travel. Kaya naman, huwag kayong mag-hesitate to answer because traveling is going to some place new that you don't usually go to and you don't usually go to. Right? So good. Pwede na talaga akong endorser ng coffee na to. Because by now, I think all of you will be trying it out. Okay, so travel, it can be domestic. Okay? You went to Cebu, Bohol, Boracay, Palawan. Hey guys, which places have you been to in the Philippines na masasabi niyong solid talaga ang natural resources in the Philippines? Coron. I've always wanted to go to Coron or El Nido. Isa sa dalawa na yon, but I haven't been there. Boracay. I've been to Boracay once. Maganda talaga siya. Hindi siya Although, nung panahon na nagpunta ako ng Boracay, hindi pa masyadong maganda yung parang mga establishment and hindi pa siya nag-undergo ng what do you call that? Incubation? Pero na-amaze din talaga ako kasi it was my first time seeing such powder-like sand. Sino dito nakapunta na ng Masbate? Masbate. Do you know about Masbate? It's so underrated. Or Karamoan Islands. This is in Karamoan is in Bicol. Yeah, Bicol. Ayan na, nai-intensify na naman yung urge ko na mag-beach. But I'm not going to book a beach vacation this year. Or at least by December, hindi muna ako magbo-book ng beach vacation. Hindi pa pwede, guys. The reason behind that, I choose to disclose. Okay. Yung iba ba, saan pa kayo nakapunta? I want to go to Siargao. Totoo ba yung sinasabi nilang there is a Siargao? What do you call that? Parang may spell. Like, you don't wanna leave the island anymore once you get there. Maraming nagsasabi. I've heard it from Nadine. Close kami ni Nadine. I've heard it from Alden and a lot of other people. And Andy Eigenman, 'di ba? Her whole family lives there. She eventually wanted to live there. She eventually built a family there, actually. So, napaka-underrated ng Masbate, Caramoan Islands because hindi sila masyadong nafe-feature online. Pero if you search them up, marami din kayong makikita. Pero overrated kasi pag-usapan pag Boracay tsaka Palawan. Pero yun nga, so many other beautiful places in the Philippines. Okay. Travel abroad, travel domestically, take a road trip, go backpacking, explore a new city, visit famous landmarks, tourist destinations. Landmarks pertain to a place's most famous spots. Experience the local culture, try a local cuisine, stay at a hotel, stay in an Airbnb, rent a car, take public transpo. You have to be familiar with these word clusters in order for you to express your experiences well when it comes to travel. Nakaka-help talaga kasi 'di ba, ang lakas makaangat ng level mo kapag you're familiar with these kinds of expressions. Don't worry guys, I'll send you a handout. Hindi nyo kailangan i-screenshot, okay? So the trip was well worth it. I had the trip of a lifetime. The scenery was absolutely breathtaking. We explored off the beaten path destinations. We discovered a hidden gem. The food was to die for. Okay, ayan. off the beaten path, meaning hindi siya usually pinupuntahan ng mga tourists. Hala, naalala ko na naman my childhood because when I was really young, my mom was she was constantly busy with work. From the morning, from the moment she wakes up in the morning hanggang gabi, work siya. So, hindi naman niya ako pinabayaan, pero this is the reason why I became so independent because I'm an only child and usually pag summer vacation sa lugar na tinitirhan namin before, it was super safe. I would ride my bicycle with my friends and we would always explore the beaten off the beaten path. Like always. Pero thank God never naman akong na-harm. But sometimes I would go home with bruises and wounds kasi bata, mahilig mag-explore ganyan. But worth it naman kasi I've learned a lot from exploring off the beaten path. The thing about being a kid, hindi pa gano'n kalawak yung awareness mo about danger. Hindi pa gano'n kalawak yung fear mo about situations because you wouldn't know how harmful a situation can be because you're a child. That's why I was so explorative when I was a kid. I would do a lot of free diving as well. Kasi at the age of 6, I already knew how to swim. And every summer vacation, we would go to this island in that particular place. And my mom would just let me go swimming for hours without supervision. I mean, I had my friends and her mom there, pero there are also times that I'm swimming alone. And I would go free diving because I knew how to do that at a young age. And I didn't care. I was so careless about the danger of being in the ocean. But that's the beauty of being a kid. You don't know the danger. That's why you would just go for it. But now that we're adults, the more knowledgeable we are, the more aware we are of the danger and the things that could happen and the risks that we took that could lead us to failure or probably disappointing situations. So that's why we kind of become less explorative. That's what I noticed about myself. Ganon din ba kayo? I wish I could still have that kind of fearless spirit in me nung bata ako. Sana na-carry ko siya hanggang ngayon. I mean, I still have it in me. I know. Pero more cautious ako nowadays. I don't know. Probably because I'm more aware of the danger. And living in this age, alam naman natin talaga that danger is everywhere. And that's why being cautious, having precautionary measures in what you do is really important. But at the same time, we shouldn't forget to live life to the fullest and take risks, right? But anyway, do you enjoy traveling? That's my question. All of you, I think all of you enjoy traveling. Tama ba? Or are there people here na very homebodies lang? Nagkaroon kasi ng part ng when I was in my early 20s, mid 20s, I would travel all the time. Pero nung dumating na ako sa medyo trentahin, and when I did all that traveling, I realized nakakapagod din pala. So, nandito na ako sa era na masaya naman ako even without traveling much. Parang siguro gusto ko mag-travel twice a year lang. Kasi it's nakakapagod. Valerie. Yes, you enjoy traveling. That's good. Especially if you live abroad. I think that's one of the perks because you're gonna explore a new world, right? So let's take a look at this sample answer. We're gonna end with this topic. We're gonna continue this on our next lecture, okay? So, absolutely, I love traveling because it gives me the chance to explore new places and experience different cultures. Whenever possible, I travel on a budget, so I usually book my flight several months in advance to get cheaper fares. I also enjoy trying the local cuisine and going sightseeing, especially if there are historical landmarks. One of my favorite parts of traveling is simply taking in the scenery and making unforgettable memories with my family or friends. Okay. You can provide an answer as simple as this, pero complete siya with REE. Response, explanation, and example. Right? So, try to answer that question. Why do you like traveling? Or do you like traveling? Why? Okay. Hanggang 5 topics lang ang na-cover natin today, but that's fine. We can always continue part 2 of this. So, naging helpful ba ang ating lecture today? May mga natutunan ba tayo? Okay, thank you, Jenny, for answering. Thank you, Maxine, for answering. Do you have any questions that you would like to ask before we end? I will not forget to upload, but it takes time to convert the video and to upload. So within the day, I'll upload it, okay? The handout, I can't promise to give it today kasi gusto ko tapusin ko muna yung buong lecture before I give the handout. Okay? Because actually the presentation is the actual handout. Okay, then I will be proceeding with the online coaching. I already have a student waiting for me. So, sino pa ba? Wala na ba talaga? I'm giving you guys a chance. Grab the chance. Wala na. So, sa mga nagsasabi, sa mga nag-iisip ng, ay, hindi pa ako confident, don't wait until the day you become confident because not unless you're undergoing coaching, your confidence is not going to be building up. So definitely, what you need is experience. And you're not going to get it in any other place than here. So definitely, please attend your coaching sessions. Grab every opportunity you have to undergo coaching with me or Sir Kevin. Okay? Huwag kayong mahiya and definitely face your fears. Conquer that level of timidity that you have, okay? Okay. I'll see you guys on Wednesday. Hopefully, magpakita kayo face-to-face kung may chance kayo, okay? I also open coaching slots on Wednesdays after lecture. And hopefully nakatulong tong discussion na to improve your vocabulary in IELTS. I'll see you again next time. Bye. Enjoy your weekend, guys. You're welcome. Bye.